Success is not just about what you do. Success is about who you become. And who you become is largely determined by how you see yourself, how you carry yourself, and how you act in the world. When you act like you've already won, you're not being delusional. You're being strategic. You're positioning yourself for the success that's coming your way. Let me tell you why this works. When you act like you've already won, you change your entire psychology. You change your confidence level, you change your decision-making process, you change how others perceive you and how they respond to you. And most importantly, you change the actions you take on a daily basis. Think about it this way. How does a winner act? A winner acts with confidence. A winner makes decisions quickly and changes them slowly. A winner takes massive action. A winner doesn't make excuses. A winner doesn't blame circumstances or other people. A winner takes responsibility for their results. A winner invests in their personal development. A winner surrounds themselves with other winners. A winner thinks long-term while taking short-term action. Now, here's the beautiful thing. When you start acting this way before you've even achieved the success you're working toward, something magical happens. You begin to attract the opportunities, the people, the resources, and the circumstances that successful people attract. Why? Because success attracts success. Winners attract winners. But there's more to it than that. When you act like you've already won, you develop what I call success habits. You see, most people are waiting for success to happen to them before they start acting successful. They're thinking, when I make my first million, then I'll dress better. When I get the promotion, then I'll start networking with the right people. When my business takes off, then I'll invest in my personal development. That's backwards thinking, and it will keep you stuck where you are. The truth is, you must act successful before you become successful. You must develop the habits of success before success finds you. You must become the person who deserves success before success becomes yours. Let me give you a personal example. When I was young and broke, working as a stock clerk, making very little money, I made a decision that changed everything. I decided to act like the successful person I wanted to become. I started reading books that successful people read. I started attending seminars and conferences even though I could barely afford them. I started dressing better even though I didn't have much money for clothes. I started carrying myself with confidence even though I didn't feel particularly confident at the time. People around me thought I was crazy. They said, "Jim, why are you acting like you're successful when you're not?" But I understood something they didn't understand. I understood that success is an inside job. I understood that you must first become successful on the inside before you can become successful on the outside. And you know what happened? Within a few years, my external circumstances began to match my internal image of myself. I started earning more money. I started attracting better opportunities. I started connecting with successful people who saw something in me that they recognized in themselves. Why? Because I was acting like I belonged in their world. Now, let me be very clear about something. Acting like you've already won doesn't mean being arrogant or cocky. It doesn't mean treating people poorly or thinking you're better than others. That's not what winners do. Real winners are humble. Real winners help others. Real winners understand that success is a team sport. Acting like you've already won means acting with class, with integrity, with professionalism. It means making decisions based on long-term thinking rather than short-term emotions. It means investing in yourself and your future. It means taking care of your health, your relationships, your finances, and your personal development as if they matter. Because they do. You see, when you act like you've already won, you start making different choices. Instead of choosing the easy path, you choose the growth path. Instead of choosing comfort, you choose challenge. Instead of choosing to blame, you choose to take responsibility. Instead of choosing to complain, you choose to take action. These different choices lead to different results, and different results lead to a different life. It's really that simple. Your life changes when you change. Your circumstances change when you change. Your income changes when you change. Your relationships change when you change. But here's what most people don't understand. Change doesn't happen overnight. Change happens gradually and then suddenly. You make small changes in how you think and act day after day, week after week, month after month. And then one day you look around and realize that everything has changed. This is why acting like you've already won is so powerful. It accelerates this process of change. Instead of waiting years to develop the habits and attitudes of successful people, you start developing them right now. Instead of waiting for external validation to feel confident, you start feeling confident right now. Instead of waiting for success to find you, you start creating the conditions for success right now. Let me tell you about the power of conditioning. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant in it will grow. Whatever you water will flourish. Whatever you neglect will wither away. When you act like you've already won, you're planting seeds of success in your mind. You're watering the thoughts and beliefs that serve you. You're creating a mental environment where success can flourish. But conditioning works both ways. If you act like a victim, you'll become a victim. If you act like you're destined to fail, you'll find ways to fail. If you act like opportunities don't exist for people like you, you'll miss the opportunities that are right in front of you. Your actions and attitudes create a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is why I'm so passionate about this principle. I've seen it work in my own life, and I've seen it work in the lives of thousands of people I've had the privilege to teach and mentor. When someone truly embraces the idea of acting like they've already won, their entire trajectory changes. Now, let me share with you some specific ways you can apply this principle in your life. First, start with how you dress. I know this might sound superficial, but it's not. How you dress affects how you feel about yourself, and how you feel about yourself affects everything else. You don't need to spend a fortune, but you do need to dress like the successful person you're becoming. Second, upgrade your environment. If your office is cluttered and disorganized, clean it up. If your car is full of junk, clean it out. If your home doesn't reflect success, start making improvements. Winners take pride in their environment because they understand that their external environment reflects their internal standards. Third, change how you spend your time. Winners don't waste time on activities that don't serve their goals. They don't spend hours watching television or scrolling through social media. They spend their time learning, growing, building relationships, and taking action toward their goals. Start managing your time like the successful person you're becoming. Fourth, upgrade your associations. This is crucial. You become like the people you spend the most time with. If you're spending time with people who complain, make excuses, and think small, you'll start thinking and acting the same way. But if you start spending time with people who think big, take action, and expect success, you'll start adopting those same qualities. I know this can be challenging. Sometimes it means spending less time with old friends who don't support your growth. Sometimes it means stepping out of your comfort zone to meet new people. But remember, you're acting like you've already won. Winners surround themselves with other winners. Fifth, invest in your personal development like winners do. Winners read books. Winners attend seminars. Winners hire coaches and mentors. Winners understand that their most important investment is in themselves. Don't wait until you can afford it. Find a way to afford it. The knowledge and skills you gain from investing in yourself will pay dividends for the rest of your life. Sixth, start thinking and talking like a winner. Pay attention to your internal dialogue. Winners don't tell themselves they can't do something. Winners don't focus on problems. They focus on solutions. Winners don't ask, what if it doesn't work? They ask, what if it does work? Start monitoring your thoughts and words and make sure they align with the successful person you're becoming. Seventh, set goals like a winner. Winners set big goals, but they also break them down into smaller, manageable actions. They write their goals down. They review them regularly. They create plans to achieve them. They track their progress. Don't just dream about success. Plan for it like the winner you're becoming. Eighth, handle setbacks like a winner. Because let me tell you something, setbacks are going to come. Challenges are going to arise. Things are not always going to go according to plan. But winners don't let temporary defeats become permanent failures. Winners learn from setbacks. Winners adjust their approach. Winners keep moving forward. When you encounter obstacles, ask yourself, how would a winner handle this situation? Then act accordingly. Ninth, celebrate small wins like a winner. Winners understand that success is a journey, not a destination. They celebrate progress, not just final results. They acknowledge their improvements, even if they're small. This keeps them motivated and builds momentum. Don't wait until you reach your ultimate goal to feel good about your progress. 10th, to serve others like a winner. Real winners understand that true success comes from adding value to other people's lives. They're not just focused on what they can get, they're focused on what they can give. When you start acting like you've already won, start looking for ways to help others win too. This creates positive karma and builds the kind of relationships that lead to long-term success. Now, I want to address something important. Some of you might be thinking, Jim, this sounds great in theory, but I don't feel like a winner. I've failed before. I've made mistakes. I don't have the confidence you're talking about. I understand. We've all been there, but here's what I've learned. Confidence isn't something you're born with. Confidence is something you develop. And you develop confidence by acting confident even when you don't feel it. You develop confidence by doing the things that confident people do even when you're scared. You develop confidence by keeping the promises you make to yourself, especially the small ones. Every time you do what you say you're going to do, you build trust with yourself. And trust with yourself is the foundation of confidence. Remember, you don't have to feel like a winner to act like one. In fact, the opposite is true. When you start acting like a winner, you'll start feeling like one. Feelings follow actions. When you take the actions of successful people, you'll develop the feelings of successful people. Let me share with you one of the most important insights I've gained over the years. Success is not about perfection. Success is about consistency. It's about showing up every day and doing the right things even when you don't feel like it. It's about making deposits in your success account every single day, even if they're small deposits. When you act like you've already won, you make different daily choices. Instead of hitting the snooze button, you get up early to work on your goals. Instead of eating junk food, you fuel your body with nutrition that supports your energy and focus. Instead of procrastinating on important tasks, you tackle them first thing in the morning. Instead of making excuses, you find solutions. These might seem like small choices, but small choices compound over time. Small choices become habits. Habits become character. Character becomes destiny. When you act like you've already won, you're not just changing your circumstances, you're changing your destiny. I want to tell you about the compound effect of acting like you've already won. In the beginning, the changes might be almost imperceptible. You might not see immediate results. You might not feel dramatically different. But don't let that discourage you. Success is like the growth of a bamboo tree. For years, it grows underground, developing its root system. To the casual observer, nothing seems to be happening. But then in the 5th year, it shoots up 90 feet in just 6 weeks. That's how success works. For months or even years, you might be developing your success root system. You might be building the habits, skills, relationships, and mindset that will support your future success. Others might not see the progress you're making. You might not even see it yourself. But if you keep acting like you've already won, if you keep making the right choices day after day, eventually you'll experience your own 90-foot growth spurt. The key is to not give up during the underground growth phase. The key is to trust the process. The key is to keep acting like you've already won, even when you don't see immediate evidence that it's working. Let me tell you why this principle is so important in today's world. We live in a time of incredible opportunity, but also incredible distraction. We're bombarded with messages telling us we're not good enough, we don't have enough, we're not successful enough. Social media shows us everyone else's highlight reel while we're experiencing our behind-the-scenes reality. It's easy to feel like we're not winning. But when you act like you've already won, you rise above all of that noise. You stop comparing yourself to others and start focusing on your own growth and progress. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start being a creator of circumstances. You stop reacting to life and start designing life. This shift in perspective is powerful beyond measure. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what can I learn from this? Instead of thinking, I hope things get better, you start thinking, I'm going to make things better. Instead of waiting for permission or opportunity, you start creating permission and opportunity. When you act like you've already won, you develop what I call success consciousness. You start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You start to see possibilities where others see limitations. You start to see resources where others see lack. This isn't about being unrealistic or ignoring problems. This is about approaching challenges with the mindset and confidence of someone who expects to find solutions. Success consciousness also affects how others perceive and treat you. People are naturally drawn to confidence and success. When you act like you've already won, you radiate a different energy. You speak with more authority. You carry yourself with more presence. You make decisions with more clarity. Others sense this and respond accordingly. Customers are more likely to buy from you. Employers are more likely to promote you. Investors are more likely to fund your projects. Partners are more likely to collaborate with you. Why? Because you're acting like someone who deserves these opportunities. You're acting like someone who can deliver results. But remember, with this increased trust and opportunity comes increased responsibility. When you act like you've already won, you must also live up to that standard. You must deliver on your promises. You must maintain your integrity. You must continue to grow and improve. Success is not a destination where you can coast. It's a way of traveling through life. Let me share with you one of the most profound realizations I've had about this principle. When you truly embrace acting like you've already won, you stop being attached to specific outcomes. This might sound contradictory, but it's not. When you're confident in your ability to succeed, when you're acting from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, you can take bigger risks because you know that even if one venture doesn't work out, you have the skills, mindset, and habits to create success again. This detachment from specific outcomes actually makes you more likely to achieve them. When you're desperate for something to work, when you're operating from fear and scarcity, you tend to make poor decisions. You might compromise your values for a quick win. You might chase opportunities that aren't aligned with your strengths. You might settle for less than you deserve because you're afraid you won't get another chance. But when you act like you've already won, you can be more selective. You can hold out for the right opportunities. You can maintain your standards and values. You can think long-term rather than just focusing on immediate gratification. This selective approach leads to better outcomes and more sustainable success. I want to talk to you about the importance of systems and acting like you've already won. Winners don't rely on motivation alone, they rely on systems. They create structures and processes that support their success even when they don't feel like doing the work. For example, if you want to act like you've already won in your health, you don't just rely on willpower to eat well and exercise. You create systems. You meal prep on Sundays. You lay out your workout clothes the night before. You schedule your gym sessions like important appointments. You track your progress. You have accountability partners. The same principle applies to every area of your life. If you want to act like you've already won in your finances, you create systems for saving, investing, and tracking your money. If you want to act like you've already won in your relationships, you create systems for staying connected, showing appreciation, and resolving conflicts. If you want to act like you've already won in your career, you create systems for learning new skills, building your network, and tracking your achievements. Systems remove the guesswork and emotional ups and downs from success. They ensure that you're making progress even on days when you don't feel motivated. They compound your efforts over time and create consistency in your results. Now, let me address a concern that some people have about this principle. They worry that if they act like they've already won, they'll become complacent. They're afraid they'll stop working hard or stop striving for improvement. But this is based on a misunderstanding of what it means to act like you've already won. Winners are not complacent. Winners are not satisfied with the status quo. Winners are constantly striving to improve, to grow, to contribute more. The difference is that they're striving from a place of confidence and abundance rather than from fear and scarcity. They're working toward goals because they're excited about what they can achieve and contribute, not because they're afraid of failure or judgment. When you act like you've already won, you raise your standards. You expect more from yourself. You take on bigger challenges. You set more ambitious goals. You're not settling for mediocrity. You're reaching for excellence. But you're doing it from a place of strength rather than from a place of weakness. This is one of the most important distinctions I can share with you. There's a world of difference between striving from fear and striving from confidence. When you strive from fear, you're focused on what you don't want to happen. When you strive from confidence, you're focused on what you do want to create. The energy is completely different, and so are the results. Let me tell you about the ripple effects of acting like you've already won. When you change how you show up in the world, you don't just change your own life. You change the lives of everyone around you. Your family sees you differently. Your friends see you differently. Your colleagues see you differently. Your children learn from your example. You become a model of what's possible. You give others permission to dream bigger and act bolder. You raise the standards in your family, your workplace, your community. You become a force for positive change, not just in your own life, but in the lives of everyone you touch. This is one of the most fulfilling aspects of success. When you act like you've already won, you're not just winning for yourself. You're winning for everyone who looks up to you, everyone who depends on you, everyone who is inspired by your example. You're showing them that it's possible to rise above circumstances, to create the life you want, to make dreams come true. But with this influence comes responsibility. When you act like you've already won, people watch you more closely. They listen to what you say and observe what you do. They're looking for evidence that success is possible for them too. This means you must be authentic. You must be genuine. You can't just talk the talk, you must walk the walk. This responsibility is actually a gift because it keeps you accountable to your own growth. It prevents you from sliding back into old habits and patterns. It motivates you to continue growing and improving because you know others are counting on you to show them the way. Now, I want to share with you some practical steps you can take today to start acting like you've already won. First, write down a detailed description of what your life will look like when you achieve your biggest goals. Don't just think about the external markers of success like money or possessions. Think about how you'll feel, how you'll spend your days, what kind of person you'll be, how you'll contribute to others. Second, identify the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. What skills do you need to develop? What habits do you need to change? What relationships do you need to build? What mindset shifts do you need to make? Be honest about where you are while staying focused on where you're going. Third, start closing that gap today. Choose one or two areas where you can immediately start acting more like the successful person you're becoming. Maybe it's how you dress. Maybe it's how you organize your workspace. Maybe it's how you start your morning. Pick something concrete and start today. Fourth, find role models who embody the success you want to achieve. Study how they think, how they act, how they handle challenges, how they treat people. You don't need to copy them exactly, but you can learn from their example and adapt their strategies to your situation. Fifth, surround yourself with reminders of your future success. This might be vision boards, affirmations, books, or quotes that inspire you. But more importantly, surround yourself with people who support your growth and believe in your potential. Sixth, practice visualization daily. Spend a few minutes each day visualizing yourself as the successful person you're becoming. See yourself achieving your goals, feel the emotions you'll experience, hear the words people will say about your success. This mental rehearsal prepares you for real success. Seventh, celebrate your progress along the way. Don't wait until you reach your ultimate destination to feel good about your journey. Acknowledge every step forward, every skill you develop, every habit you improve. This keeps you motivated and builds momentum. Eighth, stay committed even when things get difficult, because they will get difficult. There will be setbacks. There will be people who doubt you. There will be times when you doubt yourself. But remember, winners don't quit when things get tough. Winners adjust their approach and keep moving forward. The truth is, acting like you've already won is not just a strategy for achieving external success. It's a strategy for living a fulfilling life. When you act like you've already won, you're not postponing your happiness until some future achievement. You're choosing to feel successful and confident right now. You're choosing to live from abundance rather than scarcity. You're choosing to be the author of your own story rather than a victim of circumstances. This doesn't mean you ignore reality or pretend that challenges don't exist. It means you approach reality from a position of strength. It means you face challenges with confidence. It means you see obstacles as opportunities to grow and prove yourself. Let me share with you a final insight that has shaped my understanding of this principle. Success is not about reaching a destination where you can finally say, "I've made it." Success is about becoming the kind of person who continuously creates value, solves problems, and contributes to the world. When you act like you've already won, you're not acting like you've reached a final destination. You're acting like you're the kind of person who creates success wherever you go. This perspective transforms everything. Instead of chasing success, you become success. Instead of trying to get something from the world, you focus on what you can give to the world. Instead of hoping